Hello and welcome to Quiz Class. My name's Ellis and I'll be your host for today's general knowledge quiz. This quiz has 100 questions and we'd love you to let us know at the end of the video how many points you scored. Those points translate into Quiz Class awards: Champion, Master, Enthusiast, Apprentice and Explorer. Let us know how you rank in the comments at the end. So without further ado, let's get quizzing. Good luck and enjoy. Here's question 1. What factor stopped dynasties in 1980s baseball? Free agency, longer seasons, or smaller parks? What factor stopped dynasties in 1980s baseball? So for each question you have 3 multiple choices. For question 1, the answer is free agency. Number 2, what style ruled 1980s baseball? Power hitting, speed and pitching, or home run derby? The answer is speed and pitching. Question 3. Who stole 90 plus bases in a season in the 80s? George Brett, Ron LeFleur, or Dale Murphy? No, don't worry, this isn't a whole quiz about baseball. We've just got a couple of questions to start us off today. The answer to question number 3 is Ron LeFleur. Well done if you got that one correct. Question 4. Which Phillies star led with power hitting? Mike Schmidt, Ozzie Smith, or Vince Coleman? Bit of a tough one here. Do you know the answer? It's Mike Schmidt. On to question 5 next. Which pitcher got 3,000 strikeouts on July 4th, 1980? Don Sutton, Nolan Ryan, or Bert Blyleven? And the answer was Nolan Ryan. Question 6. Who became first with 4,000 strikeouts in 1985? Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver, or Phil Niekro? And the correct answer is Nolan Ryan again. Question 7. Who was named top catcher of the 1980s? Johnny Bench, Gary Carter, or Rudy Law? Nolan Ryan can't get his mitts on this question. Who is the correct answer? It's Gary Carter. Question 8. Who introduced mass car production in 1908? R.E. Olds, Henry Ford, or Dodge Brothers? Mass car production was introduced in 1908 by Henry Ford. 9. What car was launched with mass production? Chevrolet Corvette, Model T, or Mustang GT? So here we go, we've moved away from baseball now on some questions about cars. The correct answer then for question 9 is Model T. Well done if you got that one right. 10. Which car had magnetic drive transmission in 1916? Ford Pinto, Owen Magnetic 036, or Willys Knight 56? The answer is Owen Magnetic 036. Why did bootleggers need faster cars? To outrun law enforcement, for parades, or to carry families? Bootleggers needed faster cars. Do you know why? It was to outrun law enforcement. What impact did Great Depression have on auto sales? Sales doubled, sales declined 75%, or sales stayed steady? Hope you're enjoying the quiz so far. The answer to question 12 is sales declined 75%. 13. Which 1964 car targeted younger drivers? Cadillac Eldorado, Ford Mustang, or Chevy Impala? The answer is the Ford Mustang. Who wrote Unsafe at Any Speed? Alan Wiggins, Ralph Nader, or Tom Seaver? Unsafe at any speed. That was written by Ralph Nader. Question 15. What did the 1973 oil crisis promote? Small fuel-efficient cars, larger trucks, or luxury imports? And the correct answer is small fuel-efficient cars. Question 16. Who invented basketball in 1891? Walter Camp, James Naismith, or Rube Foster? Basketball was invented in 1891, and it was invented by James Naismith. Very well done if you got that one correct. When was the first basketball game played? January 1792, December 1891, or March 1933? When was the first basketball game played? Were you paying attention on the last question? It's December 21st, 1891. Who saved football from collapse? Alexander Cartwright, Teddy Roosevelt, or George Beers? Three very, very strong names for very, very different reasons. But which name is the correct answer? It's Teddy Roosevelt. 19. Who is father of American football? James Naismith, Walter Camp, or Robert Jones? A few of these names have appeared already in the quiz. Can you remember when or why? And will it affect your answer? The answer is Walter Camp. Well done if you got that one correct. 20. Which English game is baseball's ancestor? Rounders, polo, or tennis? Polo's on a horse, tennis with rackets, so it has to be rounders. 21. Where was the first organised ice hockey game? Miami, Montreal, or New York? Where was the first organised ice hockey game? It took place in Montreal. Well done if you got that one correct. Question 22. Which drinks are not considered soft drinks? Lemonade, coffee, tea, milk, or cola? The answer is coffee, tea, milk. Very rare that that's what you're after if you're after a soft drink. Why were soft drinks promoted in early America? To boost exports, to replace hard liquor, or to save sugar? In early America, soft drinks were promoted, and they were promoted to replace hard liquor. Which Paris company sold lemonade in 1676? Coca-Cola, Compagnie de Limonadiers, or Schweppes? I wasn't sure if I was going to get through that second option there. Not sure if it was right, but it is the correct answer. So well done if you got that one. Who started selling artificial mineral waters in 1794? Jacob Schwepp, Jason Black, or Erasmus Darwin? The answer is Jacob. When was Coca-Cola invented by John Pemberton? 1790, 1886, or 1940? Coca-Cola was invented by John Pemberton in 1886. How much sugar is in one 12-ounce soda? 20 grams, 40 grams or more, or 10 grams? If you'd rather not know, just skip this question and move on to the next. For those still with us, the answer is 40 grams or more. Question 28. What health risks are linked to diet soft drinks? Tooth whitening, heart disease and stroke, or better digestion? What health risks are linked to diet soft drinks? Only one of those options was a risk, and it's heart disease and stroke. 29. Which compound gives coffee its invigorating effect? Theobromine, caffeine, or nicotine? Which compound gives coffee its invigorating effect? The answer is caffeine. Question 30. Which two plant species supply almost all the world's coffee? Arabica and Robusta, Arabica and Liberica, or Canephora and Excelsa? And the answer is Arabica and Robusta. Question 31. Which coffee bean is considered milder and more aromatic? Robusta, Arabica, or Liberica? The answer is Arabica. Question 32. In the 15th century, coffee was first cultivated in which region? India, Southern Arabia, or Central America? The correct answer is Southern Arabia. Question 33. Coffee houses spread widely across Europe by the end of which century? 17th, 15th, or 20th? Now there's one on every corner, but the answer we're looking for is the 17th century. Until the 17th century, most of the world's coffee came from where? Brazil, Yemen, or Java? We've gone from baseball to cars to coffee. Do you know the answer to this one? It's Yemen. Next question. What is pure olive oil primarily used for? Fuel, culinary purposes, or construction? What is the primary use of pure olive oil? Of course, it has to be culinary purposes. Question 36. Which Mediterranean country is the leading producer of olive oil? France, Spain, or Egypt? Which Mediterranean country is the leading producer of olive oil? France, Spain, or Egypt? The answer is Spain. 37. Outside the Mediterranean, olive oil is also produced in Canada, California, or Russia. The correct answer is California. Which grade of olive oil has less than or equal to 0.8 grams of free fatty acid per 100 grams? Extra virgin, pomace, or lampant? The answer is extra virgin olive oil. Question 39. Extra virgin olive oil is associated with the reduced risk of which disease? Tuberculosis, cardiovascular disease, or asthma? When using extra virgin olive oil, you have a reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. Who directed Goodfellas? Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, or Brian De Palma? All three directors, but which one directed Goodfellas? It's the icon Martin Scorsese. 41. Who plays Marty McFly in Back to the Future? Tom Cruise, Matthew Broderick, or Michael J. Fox? Who plays Marty McFly in Back to the Future? The answer is Michael J. Fox, another icon. Question 42. Who plays the eccentric scientist Doc Brown in Back to the Future? Bill Murray, Christopher Lloyd, or Robin Williams? So in that franchise, who stands opposite Michael J. Fox as Doc Brown? The answer is Christopher Lloyd. Firmly in the movie section of our general knowledge quiz, which 1988 action film stars Bruce Willis as John McClane? Is that Lethal Weapon, Speed, or Die Hard? Lethal Weapon is Gibson, Speed, Reeves, so the answer is Die Hard. Of course it is. 44. Which Indiana Jones film was released in 1989? Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Last Crusade, or Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? The answer is The Last Crusade, the third film in the franchise. Which 1986 coming-of-age film follows boys searching for a missing body? The Outsiders, Stand By Me, or Dead Poets Society? The correct answer is Rob Reiner's Stand By Me. Which 1982 Spielberg film tells the story of a boy helping an alien return home? Is that Close Encounters, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, or Cocoon? Well, two of the options are Spielberg films, and the correct one is E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Which 1969 movie gave Robert Redford his big breakthrough? The Way We Were, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, or The Natural? The late, great Robert Redford. Which 1969 movie gave him his big breakthrough? Of course, it's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Which actor starred in A River Runs Through It? Directed by Robert Redford. Kevin Costner, Tom Hanks, or Brad Pitt? Which actor starred in A River Runs Through It? That was a film that released in 1992. The actor who starred in it, Brad Pitt. Which 1986 film made Tom Cruise a superstar? Rain Man, Top Gun, or The Colour of Money? Most recently seen bowing out as Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible franchise, Tom Cruise was made a superstar by the film Top Gun. And question 50. For which film did Tom Cruise receive an Academy Award nomination in 1996? Rain Man, Jerry Maguire, or Born on the 4th of July? This question marks us being halfway through this quiz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon to be notified on upcoming videos. The answer to question 50 is Jerry Maguire. Who was Tom Cruise married to until 2001? Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, or Katie Holmes? Who was Tom Cruise married to until 2001? The correct answer is Nicole Kidman. Which Clint Eastwood movie won 4 Academy Awards in 2004? Mystic River, Gran Torino, or $1 Million Baby? Do you know your Clint Eastwood movies? The answer to this one is $1 Million Baby. 53. What is Clint Eastwood's famous catchphrase from Sudden Impact? Go ahead, shoot, make my day, or feeling lucky? Couple of famous Eastwood catchphrases there, but Sudden Impact's catchphrase is make my day. When did World War I fighting officially end? December 1st, 1914, November 11th, 1918, or January 5th, 1925? World War I fighting officially ended in 1918. Which treaty forced Germany to accept war guilt after World War I? The Treaty of Versailles, the Treaty of Paris, or the Treaty of Potsdam? The correct answer is Treaty of Versailles. 56. What year did Japan attack Pearl Harbor? 1939, 41, or 45? Testing your war history knowledge here. What year did Japan attack Pearl Harbor? The answer is 1941, during World War II. Which military branch led the Pearl Harbor attack? Army, Imperial Japanese Navy Air Service, or German Luftwaffe? Which military branch led the Pearl Harbor attack? The answer is the Imperial Japanese Navy Air Service. Who authorised dropping the atomic bomb on Japan? Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, or Franklin Roosevelt? The dropping of the atomic bomb on Japan was authorised by Harry Truman. What US policy, announced in 1947, aimed to contain Soviet influence? Monroe Doctrine, Truman Doctrine, or Eisenhower Doctrine? In 1947, there was a US policy announced, and it was the Truman Doctrine. Historians often say the Truman Doctrine marked the start of what era? World War II, Cold War, or Nuclear Age? The answer is the Cold War. What was the purpose of the Marshall Plan? Build nuclear weapons, rebuild Europe's economies, or create NATO? The Marshall Plan had a purpose, and that purpose was to rebuild Europe's economies. Why did US leaders believe the Marshall Plan would weaken communism? Economic recovery reduced poverty and despair, it banned propaganda, or it dissolved Soviet armies. So maybe sport or film or drinks, maybe they're not your specialist subject, but history is. The answer is economic recovery reduced poverty and despair. Next, history, politics question. Who did John F. Kennedy narrowly defeat in the 1960 election? Barry Goldwater, Richard Nixon, or Hubert Humphrey? The aim of the quiz class quizzes are to test a broad knowledge. And the answer here is Richard Nixon. Hope you're doing well so far and enjoying the quiz today. What year did construction of the Berlin Wall begin? 1961, 1970, or 1977? Berlin Wall was constructed in 1961. At least that's when construction began. Who assassinated President John F. Kennedy in 1963? James Earl Ray, Lee Harvey Oswald, or Sirhan Sirhan? John F. Kennedy was shot by Lee Harvey Oswald. 66. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 banned segregation in which types of places? Only schools, public facilities and private businesses, or military bases only? The answer is public facilities and private businesses. Which leader, famous for his V for Victory sign, died in 1965? Franklin Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, or Charles de Gaulle? "20 years after the end of World War II, the answer is Winston Churchill. Richard Nixon became the only US president to do what in 1974? Face impeachment, resign from office, or serve 3 terms? The answer is resign from office. 69. The Paris Accords of 1973 aimed to end which war? Vietnam War, Korean War, or Gulf War? The Paris Accords of 73. They were put together to try and end the Vietnam War. 70. Who won the 1976 presidential election? Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, or Ronald Reagan? The 1976 presidential election was won by Jimmy Carter. The 1979 Iranian Revolution combined Cold War politics with what other element? Marxist ideology, political Islam, or military dictatorship? The answer is political Islam. Who ordered the Royal Navy to recapture the Falkland Islands in 1982? Tony Blair, Margaret Thatcher, or John Major? The answer is Margaret Thatcher. Which Middle Eastern dictator ruled Iraq during the 1980s? Saddam Hussein, Hosni Mubarak, or Bashar al-Assad? The answer is Saddam Hussein. The Iran-Contra affair involved secretly selling arms to which country? Syria, Iran, or Libya? The correct answer is Iran. Question 75. When was the Berlin Wall torn down? 1987, 1989, or 1991? If you've been vigilant enough, maybe you've taken in the picture that tells you the answer is 1989. We like to help you every now and then. Who was released from prison in 1990? Desmond Tutu, Nelson Mandela, or Jacob Zuma? The man in the photo is neither of those figures. So no help from the photo here, did you get the answer? It's Nelson Mandela. In what year did the Soviet Union officially collapse? 1991, 1980, or 2001? In what year did the Soviet Union officially collapse? The answer we're looking for is 1991. Well done if you got that one correct. Who attempted to assassinate President George H.W. Bush in 1992? John Hinckley Jr., Roger Hines, or Timothy McVeigh? Who attempted to assassinate President George H.W. Bush? The answer is Roger Hines. Which Russian leader launched the 1999 invasion of Chechnya? Boris Yeltsin, Vladimir Putin, or Dmitry Medvedev? The answer is Vladimir Putin. Question 80. Where did the Renaissance begin? France, Germany, or Italy? The answer is Italy. Which of the following was a key Renaissance figure? Newton, Michelangelo, or Darwin? One of those three was a key figure in the Renaissance era. The answer is Michelangelo. Question 82. The Renaissance is often described as a political revolution, cultural rebirth, or religious war. The Renaissance is often described as a cultural rebirth. Question 83. Which continent saw early European settlements in the 15th century? Africa, Asia, or Americas? The correct answer is Americas. 84. Colonial expansion by Europeans extended into which century? 16th, 19th, or 20th? Colonial expansion by Europeans extended into the 19th century. Which European empire was especially active in India? Dutch, British, or German? The answer is British. Question 86 next. Who is credited with sparking the Protestant Reformation in 1517? John Calvin, Martin Luther, or Henry VIII? Tough question here. Can you get the answer? 1517 being the big helper here, the answer is Martin Luther. The Reformation created which new branch of Christianity? Catholicism, Orthodoxy, or Protestantism? The Reformation created a new branch of Christianity, Protestantism. Enlightenment thinkers valued what over superstition? Faith, reason, or authority? The answer is reason. Which philosopher is associated with the Enlightenment? Which philosopher is associated with the Enlightenment? Marx, Voltaire, or Hitler? The correct answer is Voltaire. Well done if you got that one right. Question 90. Enlightenment thinkers often faced what for their ideas? Wealth, promotion, or persecution? If they faced it, it's got to be persecution. 10 questions left. What triggered the French Revolution? Industrialisation, overtaxation and financial crisis, or scientific revolution? Let's try and go for 10 for these last stretch of questions. The answer to 91 is overtaxation and financial crisis. Who rose to power after the French Revolution? Louis XVI, Napoleon Bonaparte, or Robespierre? After the French Revolution, somebody rose to power, and that person was Napoleon Bonaparte. Question 93. The French Revolution primarily challenged agriculture, monarchy and tradition, or exploration? Can you finish that statement? The French Revolution primarily challenged what? The answer is monarchy and tradition. What did big cities build to attract sports teams? Basketball courts, new gyms, or huge stadiums? The answer is huge stadiums. What movie summed up 1990s sports with "Show me the money"? Any Given Sunday, Jerry Maguire, or The Replacements? You got a quote there, "Show me the money." What sports movie did that come from? The answer is Jerry Maguire. Why was the 1994 World Series cancelled? Weather issues, player salary strike, or team shortage? The 1994 World Series was cancelled. Why? The answer is player salary strike. Who bit his opponent's ear during a boxing match? Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, or Mike Tyson? Well, it was Evander Holyfield's ear, but it was bitten by Mike Tyson. The answer is Mike Tyson. What drug issue plagued 1990s sports? Painkillers, steroids, or sleeping pills? Do you know the answer to this one? We're looking for the drug issue that plagued 1990s sports. The answer is steroids. 99. Who played basketball and briefly tried baseball? Shaquille O'Neal, Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant? 3 very famous basketball players there, but which one briefly tried baseball? The correct answer is Michael Jordan. And question 100. Which American tennis player dominated the 1990s? Andre Agassi, Jim Courier, or Pete Sampras? The 1990s tennis scene was dominated by Pete Sampras. Well done if you got that one right. And before we finish, we have a bonus question. Who was a star American speed skater in the 90s? Let us know the answer to that one in the comments, and whilst you're getting there, you can let us know how many points you scored out of 100. Those points translate into quiz class awards, so you can let us know if you're a champion, master, enthusiast, apprentice, or an explorer. We would love to know. Comment below. And that really is it for our quiz today. Thanks a lot for playing, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified on all of our upcoming videos. There are plenty of quizzes already uploaded on our channel that you can try right now, so why not give another one a go? My name's Ellis and I've been your host. Thanks again for joining us today at Quiz Class. We'll see you next time.